Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. In this first video, we're going to talk about the overview of the Ielts exam, the four parts of the Ielts exam. What exactly do you have to do? So there's four parts to the Ielts exam here. Okay. And the first part of the Ielts exam is the listening. The listening on the Ielts exam. Now, the first point we need to note for the listening is to get 6.5 in listening, you need to get 27 answers correct. Right? Now, there are a total of 40 questions. 40 questions. And these 40 questions are divided up into four sections. So 10 questions, 10 questions, 10 questions. Each section will be about something different. So that for each section there will be about something different. Now, what we need to know here is that the first 20 questions of the Ielts listening, the answers are pretty direct. The answers are pretty direct. In the last 20 questions, the answers are indirect. Indirect. So what does this mean? Of course, this means now that you really need to try to do very well in the first 20 questions of the Ielts listening, because we know we need to get 27 correct to get 6.5, right? So the first 20 questions you want to really do well, so that gives you more opportunity to mess up at the end when the questions are very difficult, right? So overall, 40 questions for the listening. Your goal is to try to get 27 correct, so you can get 13 questions wrong. Then we have the reading. And the reading, by far, is the most difficult part on the Ielts exam. You have 1 hour, and you have 3 articles to read. 3 different articles. So we have reading 1, reading 2, reading 3. These are 3 articles. Normally they're about 1 or 2 pages, and the articles are related to science, psychology, education, a variety of topics. And this is also 40 questions. So this 40 questions here is divided up between 3 readings. So reading number 1, you'll have 13 questions. Reading number 2, 13 questions. Reading number 3, one of these will be 14 questions. Excuse me. Now, to get 6.5 in the reading, generally you need to try to get 25 answers correct. 25 answers correct. Right? And this is the big picture for the reading. Later on, we'll be talking about some strategy here for the reading and some other videos I'm going to make. But this is the big picture for the reading. Now, next is the writing. Writing. Now, for the writing, you have 1 hour. And there are 2 parts to the writing. 2 parts to the writing. You have task 1. Excuse me, task 2 here. Task 1. And here in task 1, you have to write based on a graph. You have to summarize a graph. It could be a pie chart, bar chart, table, a variety of things. And the requirement here is 150 words. For task 2, this is an essay, and you have to write 250 words. 250 words for the task 2. This is an essay. The total time that you have for both writings is 1 hour. So for example, they're going to give you the graph task and the essay question at the same time, and after 1 hour, after the 1 hour, they're going to collect back both papers. So you do not do these separate. Now, what's important to remember here about the writing is that task 2 is the most important part of the writing. Now, we know, as we said in the previous video, that your Ielts grade, right, is going to be based on, we have the listening, the reading, writing, and speaking. And we know that each part of the Ielts exam, you're going to get an individual grade, and then you have an overall grade at the end, as we said before in the previous video. Now, my point here is that what you need to remember is that for task 2, regarding this grade here, the writing grade here, task 2 is 66% of this writing grade here. So this means that the essay is the most important part of the writing. Now, it doesn't mean that you should skip the graph. It just means that the priority, or the most important thing that you should try to finish if you run out of time, is finishing the essay. Why? Because again, over here, 66% of the writing grade is coming from the essay only. So that's a lot of percentages here for that writing task. So that is the most important point you should remember here. And later on, we'll be talking about the 5 different types of essays on the IELTS exam. We'll be talking about that in the upcoming video. All right. Now, the last part on the IELTS exam is the speaking. Now, for the speaking, we have 3 parts to the speaking. You have the introduction, and you have the card presentation, and you have the opinion. Now remember, the IELTS speaking, you're going to be actually sitting in the room with another human being. You're going to be sitting in the room with a native speaker. It's kind of like a job interview. Most of the time, that you will this entire process here, parts 1, 2, and 3, normally is no more than 15 minutes. No more than 15 minutes. I don't think they keep you in the room longer than that. Well, at least I don't think so. But generally, it's about 15 minutes for this entire process. Now, in the intro, very basic questions. For example, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do in your free time? You know, very, very basic things like this. The second part is the card presentation, where they're going to give you a card, and you have to present that information on the card. And the most important thing they're looking for here is no pausing. They want you to speak continuous. This is the most important thing they're looking for here for the card, and that you answer everything on the card. Now, the last part is the opinion. For the opinion, this is where they ask a variety of questions. You know, what do you think is better? Is it better to study online or study in class? Is it better to live in a house or an apartment? These are the type of things they will ask. Now, there's 2 different ways that they will do this. After they ask you the question, they can let you fly or interrupt. So, for example, if they were to ask you, do you think it's better to study online or study in class? Sometimes they will let you fly, meaning that they're going to just keep quiet. They're not going to interrupt you. They're going to let you just talk and just get out what it is that you want to say. They're not going to, stop you or ask you any more questions in between that question. Now, or they also could ask a question, do you think it's better to study online or study in class? Or they could interrupt, which means every single sentence that they ask you, they might say why in the middle before you can even finish your sentence. Or they might say, for example, or they might say why again. And they just keep interrupting you every time. The point is here is that they're going to do one of these 2. You don't know which one they're going to do. They're going to do either let you fly or they're going to interrupt. And sometimes they actually might even do both. Right? So these are the 4 parts of the IELTS exam. And this is the big picture here. This is the big picture. Right? I hope this video helped. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the 5 different types of essays. 5 different types of essays in the next video. Have a good day.